everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Paola, and today I have a very special guest. Brittany, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the Undead Truth of Us?
Yes, of course. Hi, Paola. I'm so happy to be here. Like she said, my name is Brittany, and I am the author of The Undead Truth of Us, which is right here. I'm super excited about it. It comes out August 9th, and this story follows Zari, our main character, who, after her mother's mysterious death, just starts seeing zombies. And then she meets an undead boy who kind of shows her all the ways love can change you for good or for dead. The story is really about love and grief and the monsters that haunt us.
I love that cover. It is so gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Who's the illustrator?
The illustrator is Adekunle Adeliki, and the graphic designer is Zareen Johnson.
Perfect. I love that cover so much. It's like enough for me to want to buy it already. But I also really loved, well, first of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity to read it early. It means a lot to me. And I love the exploration of Sari's love for her mom and the like romantic feelings she starts developing. And also obviously the grief that is in the book. So how did you balance those feelings in a speculative horror novel?
That's such a good question. And I feel like that's a hard question too, because when you think of like a story about love and grief, you don't always think about horror. But I do think horror novels in general and movies, they have some of the best subplots, right? And so I think with love, like, that's probably a universal feeling that most people are afraid of. And you think about being in love with someone and how that changes you. You think about loving someone and potentially losing that person and what that does to you after you lose someone that you love so much and how that grief kind of transforms your life. I think I really wanted to play with that in a speculative way, then also throw in monsters because I do feel like love can haunt us in ways that really go beyond our means, and it really pushes the borders of humanity.
Ooh, that's an interesting way to put it. I don't read a lot of horror, so I don't know what goes in and what goes out of those stories. So I just found it really interesting the way that you decided to add in all those feelings and themes. So on that topic, what are some of the themes that kind of snuck up on you as you revised and edited?
I think some of the biggest things that snuck up on me. So there's a lot of talk about like motherly love and daughter love, and there's some romantic love. But I didn't think the like friendship love was going to be such a core part of the story. I think Zari is really going through a transformational part of her life where she's discovering what it feels like to actually have friends and not being afraid of having friends. She's also discovering what it feels like to be in love with dance again, and that how that looks for her after her mother's passing, and if it's something that she really loves or if she loves it because her mother loved it. So those themes definitely kind of snuck up on me and hit me in the face, and it was probably like the third edit when I was like, wow, dang, this book is different than what I thought it was going to be, but it's a good different.
Oh, that's a sweet answer because I mean the dance part is so integral to the story. It's like in the first couple of chapters. So it's interesting that that was the thing that snuck up on you.
Yeah, I mean, because like I always knew that dance was going to be part of the story, but like I wasn't thinking we were going to like deep dive into it as much as we did. Like I didn't think it was going to like affect Zari in the way that it affected her towards the end of the story. And if she was going to decide if this was something she was going to probably do or try to do for the rest of her life because of her mother's shadow over it. So, yeah. Life.
So this next one is a little game of this or that, bookish edition. So fiction
Wow.
or nonfiction?
Ooh, fiction. Fiction. Yeah.
Print book or audiobook?
That one's hard because I love when people read to me and I get to do a
Hmm.
lot of things with audiobooks, but I love the feeling of like having my face in the page and like reading the words too. So I'm gonna choose book.
Okay.
Physical book.
Reading one book at a time or juggle more than two at a time?
Ooh, always multiple books. Always. Always.
Multitasking. It's the best way to get your through your TBR. Fantasy or contemporary?
Fantasy. I love
Ooh.
contemporary, but like I'm not a high fantasy girl, but I like that like hint of magic. Like
Nice.
it like feeling like it's a little bit not from our world. I
Mm-hmm.
love that.
Nice. Coffee or tea?
Coffee. Coffee.
Sunny day or rainy day?
My like emo teenage self would say rainy days all day, but like the sun makes me so much happier. So I'm gonna go with sun. Sunny days.
Yay! I love that. I love that answer because it's really like where you were, where you are, and like what's good for the soul. I much rather have a sunny day too.
Yes, my heart is like so much happier when the sun's outside, and I feel a big difference. I really do.
There is like it's interesting the way the weather affects our mood. What do you hope readers take away from Sari's story?
You know, I really hope that readers take away from this story the importance of taking risks and falling in love. And, like, even though it's scary, it shouldn't hinder your ability to grow and to be the person that you want to be just because you're afraid of what might happen next. I think that those fears should really, like, boost you
Mm-hmm.
into the next part of your life. And so I really hope readers take that away. And I hope that they kind of dance with her along of this crazy story of are there monsters or aren't there monsters? And like, what is this truth that we're looking for? I really hope that.
I love that. That's a very wholesome thing to take away from a book like yours.
Aw.
And finally, do you have any other projects, anything you'd like to plug that we should be excited about?
Oh, there's always so many things that everyone should be excited about. But I will say the next book is also a speculative horror. I don't write like jump scare horrors if you noticed reading, but I do like playing on the what if aspect of what if this happened. And so the next story I'm writing deals with maybe time traveling and getting stuck in a scary dimension
Ooh.
and a lot more familial love, like family love, and also how that could change you and your decisions that you make. So yeah, I think that's all I can say about the story. I'm really excited about it. Hopefully something soon. Hopefully something soon.
That's
Yes.
so exciting. I love time travel. I don't read a lot about it, but Jumper is one of my favorite movies. It's such a
Oh,
good
really?
one. Yes. And I'm really excited. Your prose is also exquisite. I love it so
Oh,
much. Yes.
Ella, thank you. That's so sweet.
Of course, I mean, are you kidding? Everybody who is watching this interview better check out the description below for buy links for the Undead Truth of Us, and obviously links to Britney's website, Twitter, and Instagram. You make some really great reels. And yes, I also noticed that a couple of reviews mentioned that as well. So, yay for that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me on the channel today. Big shout out to Crystal, your publicist, who helped coordinate this meeting. And yeah, everyone else at home, thank you for watching. Definitely check out the description below for all the links that I mentioned. And Brittany, I hope that we can get to do this again once your time travel family book comes out.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Paola. And I want us to do this again too. Put it on the books. And yay, good Crystal. My publisher says she's awesome. So thank you again for having me.
Of course. Thank you everyone else for watching, and we will see you in another one. Bye.